Hey everyone, Tony here, aka One Big Boss, and today we are talking Resident Evil Mercenaries. More specifically, should Capcom make another Resident Evil Mercenaries game for the consoles this time around? The answer is yes. Yes, they should. The Mercenaries has been something we've pretty much experienced since Resident Evil 3. And while it was fun, 8 years later when it made its way to Resident Evil 4, it became the Mercenaries we know and love of today. RE4 Mercs mode was one of the coolest things I ever got to experience in the Resident Evil franchise, and honestly, it was one of the coolest things about Resident Evil 4, at least it was for me. Being able to choose different characters from the game's story and play as them with their different strengths and weaknesses and weapons, like just mowing down tons and tons of infected. That game is a blast to play by itself, and then Resident Evil 5's Mercenaries mode took it one step further and improved on it. They took everything that worked in the original and made it better. And to me, that was done very well. Resident Evil 6 kind of did the same thing. I actually enjoyed 6's Mercenary mode, not as much as 5, but it still was very good. So when Capcom released a standalone Mercenaries game for the 3DS back in 2011, I was pumped, I was sold, I wanted it. This was something that I was desperately trying to get for so many years. I was just like, why can't this be a thing? And then lo and behold, we got that. I was excited. And then I bought the game, and I was half disappointed. What I mean by that is that the game unfortunately did come with a lot of good, but it also came with a lot of bad. The bad for this game was the fact that the character roster in it was really low. I mean, Leon Kennedy was left out of this. I know, the guy said, well, oh, don't worry, he's appearing, he's getting ready to appear in Operation Raccoon City, that's why he can't be in here. And they did add Claire to it, but it did kind of tick off a lot of people who were Leon fans. And honestly, I gotta admit too, I was like, man, we had other characters from, you know, Resident Evil 4 and 5 that could have made it in. Well, technically everybody from 4 did make it in, but 5, there were some missing that I think should have been in it. Aside from that, you know, honestly, there was kind of a lack of content on it, and I get it, because, you know, space on a cartridge like that for the 3DS, yeah, I totally understand that. But its fun factor was really good. I really did enjoy this game when I got to play it with my friends that, came over, or were in other towns, other states, my friends in Canada, and Mexico, and England. We all had a blast playing that game together, and playing as Claire was really cool. It was great that you could take the weapons that each character had and swap their loadout with something else, which I thought was great. So if you were playing as Claire, you could use Krauser's weapons. The other problem with that was, though, I was just like, man, can we kind of, you know, use other people's weapons too, as well? Can we put, the Chris's Magnum with Krauser's, bow and arrow? Can we do something like that? Unfortunately, that was not a thing that they did, but again, there was a lot of fun to this game, and it's 50-50. It's not great, but it's also not terrible, and it is definitely one of the better spin-off titles that Resident Evil's Capcom has worked on in the past. But let's look at it like this. 7 years after the 3DS game for the Mercenaries, what have we got? Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil Revelations 1, Resident Evil Revelations 2, and to some extent, Resident Evil 7. We do have those games. Why not add those characters into a console version? Why not give us the ability to just choose the weapons we want? Give us goals, say, oh, beat this character with only using a knife, or use this character's loadout in order to get this. Make you play characters you're not used to playing because they're weaker or they're not your style and everything. Have people get good with them and find different things. Add that challenge to it. Give them abilities like there were in the Mercenaries game, as well as how raid mode worked for Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. Give them the abilities, give them the ability to level up. You could do so much with this on the console. Plus, also, you gotta give us co-op for it. You gotta give us difficulties, because if you're gonna be able to swap out your weapons and make it easier, you gotta give us, easy, normal, hard mode, and no mercy mode, because I've gotten to experience what no mercy is like, finally, on Resident Evil 5 for the PS4, and something like that would be great for a standalone game. And if you did have it as a standalone game, you'd have so much space to do, way too many awesome things. So that's why I feel that Revelations 1 and 2, Resident Evil 6, and even to some extent 7 has stuff that could be thrown into that. You could take levels from any of those Mercenary games and those games in general, and you could have so much fun with the maps, make them a little bit different than before, that kind of thing. Something like that I feel would do very, very well. But again, that's just my thoughts and opinions. What are your thoughts and opinions on this? Let me know down in the comments below if you think that Capcom should make a standalone Mercenaries game for the console. I personally believe that they should, but again, I want to hear from you guys, so please, let me know. The Residents of Evil has its own Patreon, and if you would like to join and get access to ROE Discord channel and chat with us and other members of the ROE plus the fans, check it out. Might be for you. As always, everybody, thank you for watching and thank you for supporting the channel. Me and the others greatly appreciate it. And as always, my name is Tony, and I will see you back here at the Residents of Evil.